Okay, and he'll be jumping into the action. Oops, going with Milos, Decha, Mayland, Insane, Dead Zone, Camille, and Algo. And Swift, well, it's their standard 7 lineup. No surprises there.
No surprises there. Atmospheric is playing artillery. So, like, we haven't seen Swift actually play much with RT. If you remember, not at all, actually, practically. They're taking over the side of the rail toward the village and positioning with RT so they can have some shots there. Usually people take Lorraine RT and position it in a little lake, you can see on H9, because it gives them cover. Even if someone peeks over the rail, they can't really shoot them down. But Atmospheric is actually staying in a corner, which can be rather brave move, because Oops is already moving on. They're using Algo on tier 8 spotter. Yesterday, Algo had a really horrific last game, but I really wanted to remind everyone it was not blame of one guy for the last game, which they would lose anyways, I think.
Yeah, you can't really... I mean, Daki was surprised. He did nearly swear it when it happened. First shots coming out there as Swift taking damage. Mihailov actually getting down to sub-half health, and Milos actually getting the kill on artillery already.
Well, we were saying that position is not really safe for RT, and there you go. That's why, because it can be easily shot from the middle, or even if someone peeks from the down part. So, very careless from the Swift. I mean, they should have known that Oops will just press. Oops does play aggressive all the time, and it's very logical. They will actually press this lower line, and that RT will be found. And once it's found, it's dead if it cannot kind of self-sustain. Now this entire plane, whatever they had, is kind of going to shambles because they already lost RT, and Mikhailov as a bachat is on less than half HP.
Big push coming here from Oops as they're taking down the south of the map. Bear in mind, these guys spawned on the north, as it looks like Skylex is going to be the next one focused down as Decha gets the kill on the Wolf. They've lost their IS-7. They've also lost the Batchat now as well, and this is a pretty terrible start for Swift, and Insane are looking really... Oops are looking really strong here.
Dear God, how did that IS-7 even die so fast? Like 2 tanks lost on the 2 sides of the map that easily. They are just getting handed over and stomped. I would say Oops is, after the go-hard game, a bit on a quest for blood.
Yeah, this is very much a different Oops than what we saw yesterday. Melan taking a bit of pummeling here in the middle of the map as he's fighting off against Dreamlike. He goes down, but it's a token kill really for Swift. All you have left is Crispix on 67% of 67 health and Free Kill on full health, but he has pretty much an entire team of Oops to face off against.
Wow. Well, Free Kill, the last flagship for Swift in this game at least. But we are going to say it again, never underestimate Swift. Like, until you get that 5th game and you say, okay, it's our victory, you really have to play against them. And the skillful jump of Dead Zone.
TDZ, the
Always
diving zone. The
Always
diving zone. Well played, laddie. I mean, that's it. Go down and take control of your own fate. Well,
almost good.
Almost good, almost like 0 out of 10 points. Quick match there, really. I mean, this map I always quite like because for some reason the defensive team always ends up being the aggressor. It's really strange.
Well, I think that's how defenders should play, because if they play too passive, they usually play to attackers plan and whatever they want, and then you rely on some of your reaction, and that actually attacker will make some stupid mistake, which is never a good thing to do. It's much better to catch them off guard in one moment like this, and Oops really took advantage of that. They sent Algo super aggressively spotting. They knew where Swift is not. They approached with all the tanks, and they found immediately mistake. RT was really bad position. And from that point on, I really don't know why did Swift even play like this, because seriously, Oops is not a team that goes and waits with a bunch of tanks in some corner for enemy to come. Like, they should have played much different.
Yep. I mean, compare that to a map like Mines, where the defensive team is super static. It's
Oops is attacking there also.
It's refreshing to see the change. Now let's have a look at the damage done in that round, and we can have a look who came out on top, and it was Decha in STB.
Well, damage is pretty much spread. Like you can see, there is no real carry here or whatever. Milos, who did more or less a clip and maybe one more shell with those two kills. Camille, Dead Zone, Mayland. I mean, there is really nothing special in this damage. Only you can see they're like top of 5 are Oops. As it should be.
fairly spread. I don't think the artillery even got a shot off. Nope, Atmo did get a shot off, but didn't connect with anything. The Wolf only managed to connect one shot in his IS-7 before he was focused and taken out. Skylex only connecting with one shot as well. Freekill hitting with 2 shots in his Batchat. So the first 4 tanks that died on Swift died really quickly without even getting much damage in themselves, and that was quite a...
Just super fast, like Atmospheric died instant, then they lost Wolf and Skylex in the same time. And I was even like, I was watching like, okay, here Grilla will die now because he's pretty much left on his own, and there was only one Batchat covering him, and then on minimap you see what is happening with this I7. Wow, he's dead.
Yeah, bit of a slow reaction from the tanks of Swift to be able to get out of that position. Hopefully they can maybe do something different, but now it's going to be Oops on the attack with Swift on the defense. And are we going to see it?
Oops is attacking now.
Oops is attacking now, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, Oops started out north spawn, and within seconds they were on the south of the map, pushing east. I like how the map allows that kind of aggressive gameplay. You don't really get that in any other maps that we play on. Only maybe sometimes Runeberg, the defending team, can be quite aggressive.
I think he's just insane, man. He's just whipping them
just
to go forward.
Just insane, like, it's going crazy at them. I've heard you can hear him when we had the LAN games here. He was one of the voices you could hear across everybody else. Even when we had our headsets on, you could hear him, like, really giving it to his team.
I was in another building, so.
Okay, now let's look at the lineups going into round 2 here. Prokhorovka, see if there's anything special being used, and Kramwagen again. Will it work though?
Kranwagen in defense this time, combined with IS-7 and STP. No artillery piece this moment. 3 Batchats for rotation, that's on Swift behalf. Oops, having 2 tier 9 Batchats, so they are all fight no Spotterino here. Probably the cap pressure even. Maybe they will try to go village side.
Yep, that'll be interesting. Lots of all loaders. Good bit of firepower coming out there from Oops. I wonder if they're going to keep the lineup they just previously went with, or if they're going to change out anyone different. It doesn't look like anyone's changed that I can see. One is. Okay, so you can explain that when it starts, Mojo, because I can't spy it because I'm trying to look across at your screen. But let's jump into the action here. Prokhorovka, Oops on the attack, Swift defending. And how are Oops going to play this one?
Well, you can see the usual swap they have is Silence for Algo. And Silence is playing a tier 10, and they're not using tier 8 at the moment. Like, my bet would be they will try to go to 2 cap in one moment. But obviously they're trying to gain some info on a start, maybe damage free kill a bit if he's doing aggressive spot, and I'm really, nope, they're not gonna connect any shells there.
Doesn't even spot anybody.
No,
Milosh gets spotted now from, looks like Atmo popping over there. Now, the lineup here of Swift taking a very aggressive and grouping position here, Mojo, coming down on the 1-2 line, whereas the Oops don't look like they're quite set up to be able to... I mean, if Swift push here, they could be in a lot of trouble, Oops.
Yeah, Mayland already taking some damage here, so is Atmospheric. But I would say eventually Swift should have a better position here, and they have to run. They are running now, but Milosh is the guy in trouble. That's why I said from the start, I don't understand why are they positioning tanks on that side that much. Because they're really open for a counterattack from Swift like this. But in the fight from the other village side, they would actually probably be superior ones.
Yeah, they don't really have a lot of cover here, so Swift doing a really nice gun line coming in from the road side, and Oops are just kind of stuck in the middle of the field here. No hard cover to hide behind. All they can do is use the ridges to hide behind, and if Swift just move further down, they have better angles, and the dead zone here not able to really contribute much. Insane's backing off as well, and they don't have shots. Dead zone trying to come over here, and looks like he's trying to get shots in the back tanks, but I mean, it's a shooting gallery.
Kamil is getting handed over, man. Like, they're stuck in... This is really bad. Like, they're losing HP left and right, bleeding, as Ducky would say, all over the place. And I don't think they will have a way out of this one.
There isn't. I mean, Milosh is already pretty much dead. He's on 33 health. Mayland is on 330, so he's a one-shot. Insane starting to take damage now. Camille's on a one-shot. 3 tanks and Oops all down to one-shots, and only really, I mean, one Crispix high roll maybe if you're getting little kiss of death as Crispix is the first one dead.
Yeah, but look at the HP difference in the pool, even positions. The only guy that actually has some HP to play around is Silence. So unless some miraculous, I would say, if some miraculous Amorek doesn't happen, it's just not gonna go. And there is a final push here, I think, from the Swift.
Skylex coming running in to get the kill onto Milosh, as all we have left is Melan, Sealance, Insane, and Dead Zone. Melan's going to be the next one focused down, as Swift look to take this one back, so it's going to be 1-1 unless Oops can really pull something special out here. Silence has a dead gunner in his bat chat, and it's a tier 9 he's in. Dead Zone backing off, trying to get better coverage with Silence. Insane doing a delaying stalling tactic, but he's just going to go down himself as he drops 5 tanks of Swift against 2 tanks of Oops.
Well, they're hugging themselves behind these little bushes and buildings here, but that's not gonna change their fate. They are the attacking team. They need to do the damage and pressure, and they're not able to. So, what went wrong here, if we are watching like this? Maybe Oops were scared to go over the rail because Swift had a Kranwagen, and Oops did not have any of the high penetration tanks like Grille or whatever of that sort. Because whenever we saw people break defenders, they had like 2 Grilles, if you remember, in Crossfire usually, and one of those would always have an angle to really destroy the Kranwagen when he peaks for a huge alpha. And that would be a problem. But Oops here played with more traditional setup, with tier 9 Bachats, with i7, even Object 140. And I really don't know what they hope to achieve here.
I think from the way the Oops pushed forward, they were maybe expecting Swift to not be on that left side. They're maybe expecting Swift to have rotated around the right. So Oops were like, okay, we'll take control of the field side because we expect Swift to go on to the town
that's
side.
Fine, but that's like really a gamble because it revolves only around one thing. Like maybe Swift will be on other side, and then we will do a counter attack with tier 9 Bachats and just go in them in some weak spot, and we will do a humongous amount of damage. But that is such a gamble in this kind of game. You cannot really gamble like that.
STB, top damage again, different team this time. It's Atmo. He got wrecked in his RA first time round, so recovered well this time round. Dreamlike, one of the new players for Swift, coming second top damage, and mate, it tells his own story. Dead Zone, the highest damage here for Oops, but he was one of the last tanks alive to be able to farm damage, arguably. Milosh was under the hammer for quite a while there in the IS-7, so he did nice damage, despite how long he didn't survive. Camille just breaking my heart right now for fantasy points.
Well, we do have to recreate teams.
Yeah, thankfully. But,
Camille?
I still think I would still like to use him, so I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It's going to be hard picking people from Go Hard, but yep.
You should have a hard motivational talk with him before that.
It's just every guy in my team. Guys, this is important. We can't let Daki win. Yeah, I mean, unfortunate from Oops. It looks like they wanted to do something, but they were completely caught out by it, and they didn't really have an answer to Swift coming into them. They just kind of took it.
No, it was really a mild game compared to the opening that Oops actually did, which was really impressive and fast and well executed. This was really kind of mild water. I don't know.
It was
tasteless play. Play. I don't like it. I like them when they play like fast, and they know to show off the skill, and they have a plan behind it that kind of impresses you then.
Compared to what we just saw in round 1 as well, and then coming into what we just saw in round 2, it was almost like night and day from Oops. It was very like, whoa, look how aggressive Oops are on defense, and it's like, whoa, look how rotten they were on attack. I mean, let's be honest, it was a rubbish attack push. They kind of just went, nah, we don't know what to do now. Like, they're shooting at us and they're flanking us and we're stuck.
Yes.
Nowhere to go. Whereas if they'd been on the other side of the rails, you could at least gone, well, we've got hard rails to hide behind, let's reposition, you know?
Well, then they could maybe hope that Swift will do some mistake and they will use their Bachats in their advantage for some counter attack, catch someone off, but we'll never know. there is always an option that the game would just last longer then.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. 1-1. The night is young.
Indeed.
Swift is a tiebreaker.
Do you think? How do you think? How do you think this is going to go? Do
Champion.
you think it's going to go like punch for punch every match, every map? Sorry.
I would give the cliff to Oops, honestly.
Well-
And then the mines come. If Oops actually took some lessons from their last game and don't play so hasty, then they are more aggressive team. But Swift always does a really, really good calculated thoughts on mines. So mines could be again like 1-1. So if Oops doesn't really win Cliff, it could be a problem coming to Himmelsdorf.
Well, let's have a look and see which different tanks are going to be used with the bat chats here on Cliff. Artillery.
Yeah, RT in attack, we've seen it plenty times. You can even abandon it because it's really hard to get to it when you're a defender. And plenty of batchats and TVP. So that RT piece is really useful when you when you have a stalemate and tanks are just going up and down, left and right a bit. And if you think about it, the only advantage the Swift has is that T49, which can or cannot do anything. Like that's always a kind of a gamble.
It's always, yeah. The
It's an extra
T49, it's always like you either have a rubbish game or somebody has an outstanding game and comes top damage.
It's an extra spotter and an extra damage dealer, but man, so is an RT. So if Oops manages to push Swift in some positions where they can't really rotate well, that RT will win them the game. If they fail to do it, then Swift will have an extra tank, so they will win a game.
Well, let's find out who's going to step ahead 2-1. Will it be Oops or Swift as we go into Cliff?
Cliff, the most dynamic map in the league. Battles on Cliff always turn into desperate double-edged fights. Teams start from the same spots as they do in standard battles. The first base is located near the defender's spawn point, and the second is at the bottom of the hill. Sometimes teams split their forces and send several tanks through the 1-2 line to the left of the small hill, but usually both teams play at the center. The attacking team can send one of the tanks up to the lighthouse or behind it. Fast and quick-firing vehicles are better suited for this map, mainly medium tanks, including tanks equipped with autoloaders.
Tanks with autoloaders indeed, as we see the charge of the bat chats coming out from the spawn area. Oops, red team attacking, Swift, blue team defending.
But unlikely from the previous season, Cliff is hardly a rush map anymore. It's actually quite tactical and skill-wise next to the mines with all those climbs. Very hard map to play. But Skylex can do that secondary climb also. There's so many little goat paths you can use, but never mind.
I was just going to say good recovery, and he didn't even recover the second one. Crispix in this middle area here, at the bottom of the big hill, and then opposite you have the wee hill, or the small hill.
As usually, you have Mayland here on TVP. Classic stat padder. And I will point out important position where Camille is, because where Milos is, it's not enough just to have guys behind him. If you don't have a guy where Camille is, one of the Swift players can just peek around Lighthouse and maybe take advantage of some bad moment for Milos. But there is rotation coming in because they don't sense there is anyone up. And let's see.
Camille coming down the bottom road area as he's going to come around the right-hand side of the map. Sealance is with him as well. They get down into that depression. That gives them good coverage of that area and lets them know that nobody from Swift really challenging the hill. So Milos actually has a king of the hill for now, as the Wolf is starting to climb the area, and Sealance is actually going up the back way now.
Yeah, a lot of interesting moments here for Oops, but a lot of ways you can approach this map now, so you can see. The most interesting position at the moment for me is honestly where Dead Zone is. I would really like to see how is he situated, so we can judge how safe he is.
Camille got a shot into the Wolf there, making him back off.
Yeah, that's very important, because Wolf probably didn't make the climb on a time, and that might cost them dearly now, because Oops has the high ground now. They can spot around, they can guess. Of course, well, Mikhailov with TVP will be A5. It's not really like you're discovering America again. And they can even blind shoot it in one moment, make rotations based on that and so on. Now, the RTP is on K1 corner because he will, of course, try to clear the positions like Crespix has and so on. So that's the main plan. Yeah, there is no trap, so he can pick, man. They are not down on G2.
I was just wondering if Dead Zone could spot from where he is.
Dead
But it
Zone
looks like
also.
Dead Zone's tucked in right behind
Dead
the
Zone
rock.
has to be super careful. That's why I want to see him. Is he actually trying to spot, or he is part of a trap, waiting for some like 1-2 rotation maybe by one of the Swift guys, so he can clip him together with Mayland and Algo.
In this position from Dreamlike as well, he's hugging the very
Yeah,
edge.
there we go. See?
Oh, that's bold. He doesn't have a lot of coverage there.
But they didn't see him yet.
Dreamlike taking another hit. I was just going to say this position where Dreamlike is right on the edge of the map, and he's moved away from that. It was a very precarious position. If he'd been zoomed in or something like that and moved the wrong way when trying to avoid the shot, he could have dropped right off the edge of the map.
Well, so far the game is slow, but it's good for Oops because they gained some ground. They gave one shot to one bad shot each, nothing very important, but it's better to be on that side than on the receiving end, of course. And well, all the cards at the moment are in Oops' hands, but they need to do something with them now. It does look like they're doing a lot of communication with each other, but not much movement, because they're still doing the damage. That was a blind shot on Mikhailov. That was a blind shot on Mikhailov on TVP, as we said, on that A5, and that was an RT missed on Wolf.
Algo and Mayland really defensive here as well, waiting for some kind of push through the middle. So despite Oops being on the attack, it looks like they're trying to bait Swift into coming into them. And Swift, because they're defending and they can just run down the clock, they're not taking this bait.
Well, as we said many times, like Cliff is not really that hard of that big of a push map anymore. It's rarely where you can see teams that actually decide to fight each other somewhere from the start.
I mean, the thing is because if the clock runs down to 0, the defending team wins. The defending team have no real need to actually go hunting for the attacking team. So if the attacking team's trying to set up some kind of trap where they're like, haha, we'll catch out 1 or 2 tanks as they drive into our guns, it generally doesn't work because the defenders will be like, okay, we'll just sit back and wait for you to appear. Now, watching the camera now with Dead Zone as he's coming round to where Mayland and Algo is, as the rest of the tanks maintain position up on the hill of Milosh and Silence and Camille, but nobody else from Swift is able to make any kind of movement, really. Insane is wide open on his own on this flank, but of course Swift don't know that.
Well, in one moment we'll see finally the rotation from Oops. They will have to push that B line. They will have to go in those deflates of the land and try to get shots on these butchers on the middle. That will be a moment also for a counter-attack by Swift, and once that all starts going on, it will be rather fast from that point on. And we will see also, will Mikhailov be able to do some damage, or they will just annihilate him from the hill as soon as he peaks, because that will be the prime job of those guys that are left up on the lighthouse.
So Atmo's not going to be able to contribute much into the fight here. He'll need to move quickly. Skylex could probably get shots in from here. As Crespix is taking a hit there, 391. Dreamlight getting wrecked now as he's down to 523 health. 2 shots went into him, looks like at almost the exact same time. Camille taking damage here on Oops as he's swapping out with Dead Zone positional here to be able to trade shots. Now bear in mind as well, Oops have 2 tanks up on the hill that can range shots down as well, so this could be really... I mean, it's going to be a lot of individual skill here for players picking out actually who they need to focus down first.
Free kill went and killed Arty, but he will pay a price for that, so that was an exchange. Arty for a light tank. I would say it was okay in that exchange for Swift at the moment because it gave safety to the butchers.
That also caused Mayland to take a hit as well. Algo now being the focus fire furthest one forward here on Oops, and at the moment it's kind of equal between the teams HP wise. The RT and the T49 now are no longer part of the battle, so now it's just down to many Batchats shooting each other.
Yeah, but in this position now Swift actually can survive. The only problem is Dreamlike is a bit stuck there and with low HP, but still the time is ticking away. It's 3 minutes. Once Oops makes any big movement, and Algo is also in a problem with HP, as you can see. Once Oops makes that big movement, if they don't take out one gun immediately, they will be the ones losing the game eventually.
Yep. We need to have... Oops need to know exactly where Swift are to be able to make their push. They can't afford to wait longer, and they need to
They're
group
actually
up.
anticipating it. You can see Skylex is going around.
They're getting ready for the dead zone, and Camille Mayland's move position as well, but he's been kind of locked in from the tanks in the middle. And dead zone's going to be driving around right into the guns of Skylex and Atmo here.
Atmospheric and Skylex. It's all about RNGs now, man. But dead zone already got checked on the first shell.
Return fire from
Camille
dead zone,
also.
and Camille nowhere near good enough.
Camille is getting wrecked.
As Camille is now the focus, he gets dropped by Skylex. Very nicely played by Skylex and Atmosphere. The rest of the tanks are going to have to go in because they realise they have to get the fight and they have to get the kills, as Silence is getting wrecked here in the middle as well. Next one down perhaps. No, Algo gets the kill on Crispix. We are 5 on 4 here.
That can change in a second.
Can still change. It's still anyone's game right now as the reloads are starting to come off. The Wolf gets a kill on Milosh. Mayland is reloading. How many shots does Wolf have? We can't see right now, unfortunately, because the Observer mod is not showing reloads. But it's not looking good for Oops, I would say. Mihailov still with all that HP.
No, Oops is in a problem here. Time is ticking away, and Mikhailov with that 1400 HP can defend himself endlessly and reload before they even see him. So we have Mayland now chasing Wolf to finish him off, maybe with this clip, but even if he does, there is plenty of more guys. This is a lost game.
Mayland is now dropped to 212 health. Silence is on 369 health, so they're both at a one-shot. The Wolf is pretty much a one-shot himself. Mihailov still has pretty much all his HP. Skylex is a one-shot. Still potentially doable for Oops, but this is looking to be Swift's game as Skylex now drops Sealants, and all we have left is poor Mayland all on his own. No carry. So Swift are taking the first round here on Cliff and stepping up to 2-1. Yeah, you just can't call these matches. It's really, really not at all like last season.
Again, Oops chose a really slow approach to the map. You cannot blame them for that. Of course, that was part of the tactic, but losing that RT piece in this moment, I think it actually costed them a game. Because that RT would be able to maybe splash some of the tanks, and when the game develops, to do some significant damage on them as they're trying to position, maybe take even entire tank out of equation in that moment. But trade 49 for M40 actually gave Swift defense power that some of the tanks actually do not have to move around at all.
Well, let's have a look at the stats and see which Batchat did the most damage. Take a seat.
Well, Mayland was the last man alive there, and he was shooting all the time, so it was actually easy to guess this
Should
one.
have seen that coming. God damn you, Mayland.
Again, not really super game for anyone except Mayland and Skylex, who actually did their rotation, so he did a lot of damage in that moment. I think only one shell didn't penetrate. He just, in one moment, checked Camille instead of damaging him. But from this tail game, pretty much the guys on the first page carried at least their own HP. And free kill 400 exactly for RT.
Yep, unfortunate for RT. He did get a shot off, connecting there, 884 damage. Free kill 400, just straight up the HP of the M40, M43.
It was the damage on a Dreamlike.
But can Oops rebound from this? I mean, now all that happens is the teams swap positions, so we're going to see Oops on the defense, and we're going to see Swift on the attack. We're going to see, well, at least 5 Batchats per team again, and then 2 other vehicles, probably TVPs and something else.
Well, Swift so far got wrecked on Cliff from Utopia. They played only one game, and they played draw with Kazna 1-1. So they played quite a bit, while Oops played only against Ding. It was a draw. So, as you said, season is young. A lot of them have a lot of different plans they can do, but there is only so much of them that you can actually play on a map. Yesterday we saw one of the Swift guys in attack climbing on clouds part of the map, if you remember.
All the way, atmosphere going all the way up to the edge of the match.
Went with TP there, but it was not very glorious. And when he started falling down, when he was dead, it was interesting trivia.
I mean, there is some places you can go to on the map that's not normally played, but it always kind of ends up being static. We have seen some new tactics being used. I think it was Gohard taking the E100 and...
But it was not well executed.
E5, yep. I mean, it was nice to see something new, though. I mean, maybe we'll see something new between the teams now, but I get a feeling it's just going to be Batchat City.
We'll see.
We'll see indeed. Let's find
we saw
out.
Kranwagens and it was not bad, man. Remember?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, this is where Dead Zone and Camille get wrecked in the middle coming round here.
But they were forced for that reaction. Like they had choice either to push there or to push through the middle. But when you push through the middle, you are in a crossfire. So they were like, yeah, let's try something else.
Yep.
But Swift already read them well, and Skylex was already waiting down. You could see the rotation was actually parallel, though Oops was not spotted. Swift just guessed what they're doing and sent a guy there to secure the flank. It was more than enough.
It was really well done, and that then triggered the rest of the fight to happen in the middle, which wasn't really on Oops' terms because they were wanting tanks to come round and to be able to provide a crossfire. Comes down to a lot of individual plays at the moment here when tanks have to take down individual tanks. You want to take the gun out of the game as quick as possible, but I mean, Swift had a tank. It was 1,800 full health, TVP, still available in the battle.
He was on 1,500.
1,500,
he took
yeah.
one blind shot.
Looks like the HP sometimes the observer thing.
Yeah, observer mode is not doing it properly, so one of the observers is not showing the correct health, unfortunately. Sorry.
But now, are we going to get something different going into round 2? How do you see it going? Do you see it going Swift's way again, or do you see it going to Oops?
It does look like Swift actually slowed down the game of Oops. I mean, Oops is playing slower the last 2 games, and now they will be defending, so they will not have really a reason to push something super aggressive.
Well, let's see if we get any surprises as we can have a look at the lineups here going into round 2. No.
No, this is fairly normal, and Swift only doesn't have a light. They have 2 tier 9 butt shots, so they might actually be the aggressive ones in this
Could
kind
be
of
quite.
game.
I mean, it's a very firepower centric lineup. The 2 tier 9 bat chats. I mean, I quite like that over taking the T49 in TVP, but I guess it depends. Oh, you've got the TVP as well. So yeah, I actually like that lineup from Swift for Cliff. I think it's a really strong lineup.
49 in defense can do a lot. Really can do a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
and we know that usually it's Camille playing it, and he's a really good 49 player.
Well, let's see if Swift can make it 3-1 here, or Oops going to bring it back to 2-2. It's going to make the league table interesting if Swift can beat Oops now, because then that'll be Oops on 2 defeats after just beating the previous undefeated season champions. Very mixed fortunes for the team.
This is an interesting climb. I hope we will see it entirely.
Nicely timed by both of them.
Yeah, I was scared for one moment that actually Dead Zone will slow down Milos,
Yeah.
but this is the best way if you want to counter 1-2 push, because you have Camille. That's what I want to explain. We have Camille spotting down, and if someone is pushing 1-2 line, he will spot, fire a shot, hide behind the house, and these guys will be right on top of them, shooting them, and no one from the middle can cross. But there we go. That's the aggressive push that we were mentioning the Swift might pull off with this lineup.
Hyper-aggressive push here from Swift as they rush through the middle trying to catch out the tanks of Oops, but it looks like it's actually backfiring on him a little bit as the Wolf is getting focused down first. Oops taking a gun out of the game, but Milos, Insane and Silence all taking a massive amount of damage as Oops have now lost Insane and they're about to lose Silence and Milos both left on a one-shot as Swift pull back on a reload. That exchange went actually in Swift's favour, pulling away there almost 2k HP above Oops, but the fighting's still not done as Dreamlight gets the kill on Silence.
And the fight is actually done already, man, because Oops is down on a lower part of the map. Mayland is the only one guy there, but even he has to go down. Once you lose the high ground and you're a defender, what's there to do? You can see Dead Zone is desperately trying to climb up there and get some cross shots on them so he would maybe be able to save Milos. But look at the damage done. Almost 3000 HP advantage here. Okay, more than 3000 HP.
A good old school rush on the Cliff. Not seen one of them for quite a while. Cliff has the potential to be one of the quickest maps in the game, as with Mines when both teams collide in the middle as well. Crespic's going to come down here, take a shot in the face from Camille and then get him killed. 751, decent roll, but Camille now is on a long reload in that T49.
Yeah, but Crespix cannot really peek around the corner and check out, is he alone or not?
Yeah.
Because then he would actually maybe bring his team in a dire position by dying, and they would be 4-on-4. But they will close their positions shortly on them, and the weak link in this defense is Milos, who is on 200 HP, Everyone is trying to defend him. Dead Zone is stuck behind the rock. Yeah, you can see this. This is just like a slaughter now.
Dead Zone taken out in a crossfire. Mayland was also getting shot as well. All three tanks now of Oops on a one-shot, as within quick succession we lose Mayland and Camille. Milosh, only player left. He manages to get a kill on Skylex, but as a token kill, as there is still 5 tanks available on Swift and all the HP available on Swift as well. And poor little Milosh, nothing you can do, mate.
It's going to be really interesting to see Utopia play, because so far they really handed Swift over the lap.
They really handed it to them, and Swift are showing that...
I really want to see was that like kind of, you know, first game that Swift was not just ready for, or what happened, because we said like Swift can start badly in a season, but they do know how to put their foot to the ground and just, you know, turn the favors to their sides. And we've seen them turn a lot of matches they were losing, even they were losing 1-4 to go to tiebreaker. Tiebreaker is really something very familiar to them. But now they're in position, they're leading 3-1 to Oops, and this cliff was everything that Oops would need to happen on their side, but it's happened for Swift.
Yep, it's like a revolving door right now. Skylex, the one coming out on top here. Crispix coming in second in their bat chats. Milan then in the TVP, and then after that Mihailov. Damage kind of equal across the tanks, but Oops just couldn't really stand up to that crazy push from Swift. And
it looked in one moment that actually Oops will get a better hand out of that push, but they had 7 tanks up and they still had it, even that little 49.
Yeah.
And some of the guys were sniping from the distance. So the closer shots from Swift actually managed to take better of Oops here. Look, you see Dreamlike got pretty much wrecked, but Insane didn't have the better game, and Camille connected only that one shot, which is in the later part of the game and not really important.
I mean, normally we always talk about guns in game. You want to try and focus out a tank, get him out of the game, and then focus on the next one. Now, in that situation, what we saw was Swift going in, and although the damage was spread across multiple tanks from Oops, it was auto-loaders, so everyone kind of expended all their shots at the same time, but Swift made more of their shots count. So when Swift came off the reloads roughly at around about the same time as Oops, Swift had less shots they then had to do to take out the remaining tanks of Oops, and were sitting quite pretty.
Yeah, even during the end of that first brawl, Oops lost 2 tanks and had to fall down, and Swift lost only 1 at that moment. And they kept the higher ground, and that's the important part. They kept the higher ground and virtually won the game. Everything after that was just like Oops desperately trying to come back in the game somehow, but they can't have it.
Now, Oops won the first round on Prokhorovka, and they've now lost
and very nicely
3 rounds in a row.
Badly.
We're now going into Mines, which has the potential to be another rush map, fresh after just being spanked by a rush tactic here on Cliff. How much do you think that's playing into Oops' mind right now?
Quite a lot, probably. But still, they have to stick to whatever plan they made before a match. We've seen them play Mines before, so did Swift, of course, and studied them. They played super aggressive. They will probably change now, because you cannot recycle a tactic 2 days in a row.
Or you could.
It just doesn't work like that.
That's why I'm
it's
not
too
a clan.
close.
That's why I'm not a clan commander. Well, I am a clan commander, but that's why I don't play anything serious.
They could recycle it, but they would have to wait like at least a couple of days. Because it settles then. But
hopefully they forget about it and they'll be like, no, how could we not see that coming?
Because then there are variations, but never mind that. It's a lot of guessing work. We'll see when the teams are ready. What will they show us? We know that Swift plays Mines really meticulously, and they do avoid huge brawls in the start. That's what they always do. They try to kind of strangle opponent like a python. They play on time, man. Time on and planning.
Do you think this one's going to go to Swift? Do you think they're going to go 4-1?
Unless Oops gets some really nice position in the start and manages to maybe surprise them and take out one guy for free in the start, it's probably going to go like that.
So, Oops on defense, Mayland in a grill. Oops on attack, Mayland in TVP.
Wow, you're psychic, man.
That's what's going to happen. That's what we're going. They're the only 2 tanks I can predict, like in those positions in that
maybe
setup.
Mayland the defense in TVP.
Let's have a look at the lineups and see if we can see any surprises in the tanks being chosen here.
Wow. Well, Kranwagen here, we already seen it used below the hill. It's pretty much the same lineup. I think they used the last time minus, I'm not sure, about 49. Let me see this. Swift playing with the Lorraine Arty and 3 TVPs. Well, we see them play with 3 TVPs before.
And we know where the Lorraine Arty is going to mainly play as well, because we saw a lot of that being used yesterday, where it ends up being on the southeast of the map and then goes up the east side to then be able to get shots under the hill. But let's find out who's going to win this first round on Mines.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the centre hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
And the battle starting out here. So, Mainland on the grill, on defense. I'll go back in the lineup as well,
Double
Mojo.
boost going on. Double boost by Oops.
They tried this yesterday and failed it.
And they failed,
They failed it again. Sealance at the start, not getting it. Dead zone, gliding into the back of him. So that's twice in a row, or at least 2 times Oops have tried to do a double boost on that area, and it's not happened. And it's been different people each time.
TVP and a budget alone in a city, that can be really scary, but I think they're playing on a card that, here we go, they're even doing some nice damage on Atmospheric there.
Very nice pick out on Atmospheric. Deca taking shots back in return, however, can he get safe? He gets safe now, but he's not really safe for too long as Algo takes a lot of damage as well, backing off, because now Algo's in return fire from Atmo, and Dreamlight getting shots in the back of him as well. Algo, first one down, and then Deca down as well, and this is a bit of a nightmare start for Oops.
This is what we were saying. If they get one guy in a start and go clean, it will be their game. They really had a good shot at Atmospheric. The thing is, the guys that didn't get up on a mountain, they were supposed to cover them against Dreamlike shooting them in the back. But hey, they didn't.
Dreamlike then gets the kill onto Silence, and then Dreamlike falling in return for that, but Swift complete control here, although damage starting to come back from Oops as they're bringing more tanks into fight, but Oops only have 3 tanks available, Swift having 5 available, 5 guns
4
to 2, 4 now, but still completely everything in Swift's favour.
This is the thing now, you have Grilla and Kranwagen. Potential of damage from those 2 is really great, yes? I agree on that. But they have no mediums, mobility is really limited, spotting is very limited there, and there is an Arty who can play against them and a lot of other tanks. They can allow themselves to take damage as they are, and it's just not gonna end well.
Kramwagen getting the kill on Mihailov, but now he's going to be flanked by the Wolf as he's on reload, or the Wolf might shoot at Mainland instead. Nope, he's going after Milosh. This is the beginning of the end.
Ooh, he
for
took
Oops.
Atmospheric down, nice.
Milan does get a kill on Atmospheric, but there's nothing that Milosh can do to survive against the Wolf, who's on full HP and can just chase Milan round and round the circle.
Amarek.
Is he going to wait? No, wait a minute. Artillery.
Mainland, can you Amarek?
Ari, can you see Ari? Here's Ari's shot.
Ooh!
Oh! Oh! Nice angle there for the camera work to be able to show those kills. Well, there we have it. Swift now sitting 4-1 up against Oops. Not really what a lot of people would have expected if they tuned in for the first match of the season, or well, the penultimate match at the start of the season, when we were penultimate, not even, that's not the right term. The big match at the start of the season when it was Oops versus Ding, and Oops were able to defeat Ding.
Well, this is already a match point here for Swift. 4-1, really dire situation, probably even a tilt kind of situation. Now they are supposed to attack as Swift. A team that can probably dig up very deep in a mines.
Yeah, yeah.
And you need to best them, and I don't know. Simply, you remember when we were saying ABC of a tactic? So A would be climbing the mountain, B is taking the village, and well, that A simply didn't happen, and they were already shooting people, and they were not covered.
Yep, well, we can see Milosh at the top here in the Kramwagen. He was top damage, but he was one of the last ones alive in his team to be able to do the damage. Crispix coming up high there in TVP. Algo and Sealant, lads.
This doesn't sound right. I thought Milan had much more damage than this.
I think he only connected one of his shots. I think it was the Kramwagen doing all the shots.
He killed an arty, and he connected atmospheric. That means that he missed actually even the point blank shots with Grille.
Yeah, I mean RA and then hit
He had one
else.
shot in the back of 113,
He's
and
hit somebody. He's hit somebody on 400, and he's done RA for 400. Dems the breaks. Not really in a position where he could actually make the most use of the grill, because by that time the team tactics had kind of tactics had gone right
it's
out
not
the
like
window.
it would change the game.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it
for
would
sure.
just be like maybe 113 would have 1500 instead of 100% HP.
But
That's
no,
the only difference.
The 113 was still in full health running around that circle.
Yeah, he had one shot at him, and that's why I was surprised that
I guess he
didn't
must
correct
have
it.
bounced or
But
missed.
never mind. It wouldn't change the game. Anyways, it was actually miraculous that even came this close. I mean, coming back from such a start when you lost 2 tanks like this and you gave really no return, and game ending with only 1 survivor, that was actually quite well for Oops, but the result is really dire. They have to come back from 1 to 4. This is not kind of their treat, it's usually Swifts. But let's see the lineup for possibly the last game here.
Now, anything unusual? Double grill from Swift on defense.
Wow.
Two grills, 1 mines.
I can't say I really like so many TDs on this map. We've seen Kazna play with 3, and it says passive when you see that. It says so much passive, and Oops has RT M40 that can splash really well. I would say maybe Lorraine is better for this map. It doesn't have a big punch, but it can go on some places that M40 can only dream of. So you can get different angles of shooting. But if you want to play more static with RT and maybe just abandon it somewhere without any coverage from the tanks, then you can use it like that.
Now, here's the thing. Swift sitting in match point here. It's first to 5 we play here, so best of 9. Swift, however, are the champions at going into tiebreakers and winning tiebreakers. Could Oops Mojo do a reverse sweep here on Swift and take Swift into tiebreaker?
It's always a possibility, especially if they win this round. Himmelsdorf is not something Oops cannot win. But it's all about this at the moment. Like, it's step by step. When you are chasing an opponent with such a huge result difference, you cannot think that hard. Tiebreaker, that's another life, man. You think about this map and then maybe next map when it comes and so on. Like, baby steps.
Baby steps, 1 match at a time. Well, hopefully Oops can pull something out of the bag, because it's been a bit lackluster from the team that we saw just take down Ding only a couple of days ago. It's very much like the Oops that we saw earlier on, I think yesterday, underperforming from what we would expect. So hopefully they can turn something around, and let's actually jump right into the battle and see if they can do so.
I have a feeling kind of that Oops is a bit getting ahead of themselves, playing too fast maybe for their own benefit, and too hasty. When they polish that up, they will be a really brutal force. But they are going with everything they have to the hill. Silence is climbing back to get RTPs on that A4. And Atmospheric is boosting. We saw Atmospheric yesterday when they played, he almost died. Camille took some damage already.
Camille taking damage as he gets onto the hill. Dead Zone not making the climb, falling down there. Algo's up all alone with Camille on the corner. Atmo taking damage as well on his climb, but he's now able to get up all the way to the top and safe. And there's no counter to him on the other side from Oops.
That was a rather cheap climb here by Atmo. I would expect him to lose far more, but that was yesterday. This is today. There was simply not enough people to shoot him there. Now, some boosting problems here for Oops in these games, but this one just started. Camille will probably try to go to the positions below the village, maybe even climb on that A9, A8 position, and be a counter for Atmospheric there. And nicely done.
Camille getting up into that area where he can get some crossfire shots. Very good climb from him. He's not taking any damage getting to that position either. So at the moment,
no one watching there.
Atmo and Camille. Atmo on Swift taking damage and Camille taking damage. Camille taking more damage by about 100. And now we see Dead Zone
I think
taking
it
up this
was
position.
like a shell from free kill in
Yep.
start.
There's a good connection from the T-49 perhaps, yeah. Or maybe one of the grills.
Not sure if they're in position to shoot him. But the grille that is on H4, he is probably just really hiding because RTPs, if he knows that he's there, well, he's rather RT safe like this. But if he tries peeking somewhere, he can get shot.
And the viewpoint from the RT, Sealance is aiming towards that area. We're at J7, so right on top of where Skylex actually is right now. Now, did Skylex get spotted by anybody earlier on, Mojo? Freaky was actually taking a shot there in the T-49.
It's probably a blind shot. A lot of teams anticipate there is someone in there because that's kind of a standard spotting position where free kill was. If you remember even yesterday when 49 was there, he got shot a couple of times. Purely blind. And it was also Oops doing the shooting. So Oops, at the moment, this is why I said I would like to have a Lorraine Arty. If you had a Lorraine Arty, you would actually be able to position it on a rock and shoot Wolf.
From where the Wolf is underneath that area. Yep, that's where we saw Crispix actually getting wrecked yesterday because he was sitting flat on the ground. And Mayland
took another shell.
Getting the kill on free kill. Looks like he was lit the entire time he was moving about there. Mayland in the area where Mayland always basically is in the TVP. Can usually farm a lot of damage. Now, Mojo. Oh, Sealance! What a shot!
Whoa.
Bam! Skylex gone. One and done. Whoa. So, Mojo, can you break out the crayons? Or are we going to sit and watch this one? Yeah, let's actually have a look tactically, Mojo, and you can break some stuff down for us right now.
Well, the thing is why I wanted the Lorraine would be because they would be able to shift him all the way here behind this rock, climb him up because he's fast enough arty, and he would have a direct shot on this guy here, while they would position a heavy tank below and he would chase him off with HE. And that's why you usually kill the 49 like that. But the connection by that M40 pretty much denied me, and they really wrecked this TD here. Now what we have is only atmospheric in this position defending entire flank for Swift, because if Oops actually does a major push that will come from this side probably, there is nothing really to stop them. This grill can do one shot. If he misses, this guy is in huge problem because they will be in this bunch of houses. They will be pretty much not able to shoot. Anyone will not be able to shoot them, and they will kill the 113 then. So in that moment, when they push, they will probably try to go with one barchat on a back way, and they will just try to deal with atmospheric in the same moment. But there is enough time, so maybe they'll try to do it with Arty first.
This could hurt. This could hurt. Splash.
You know what's annoying with Arty? Like, besides being clicker and everything like that. When you lose a sight of a target, the shells simply travel differently.
Yeah, it's like when you're shooting at someone at long range, you get the adjustment of the height.
Because you see a turret. And you have a chance of a turret shot and shell just goes like that. But when you lose a sight, it just shows like a red mark, like you even can't let a shell
It
there.
almost like flies straighter in a way when you don't have the angle. Now, it did look like Oops were going to position to go down the 8-9 line. They'd moved the 113 over there, but now it looks
I
like
really hope they will not go down from the hill, because that's the worst possible solution for them. They will be in crossfire by entire team of Swift there. Every single person from Swift can shoot there.
It looks like they're about to take an advantage and throw it away, but no, Dead Zone going really far forward here.
It's a leap of faith, man.
And we see Milos just creeping forward. They know that the Wolf is underneath him. Milos just creeping forward, trying to feel out positions of the rest of the tanks from Swift, and then Oops will make a move, although Milos actually taking damage first and nothing going on to the
He's
Wolf.
buying time just for people to climb above him, so they would have a counter for atmospheric at the moment.
Oh, Algo on fire.
Bro.
Oh.
And that's about that grill like Crespix we were saying. Like, he has good shots up there. He has good shots if someone is crossing, but once they cross, they would be able to annihilate Wolf. Now, Algo on such a low HP, it's not really something they wanted in this kind of game, because now his pressure on atmospheric is rather limited.
Dead Zone trading with Dreamlike here. Dead Zone is not going to win
not
this
called
exchange
trading.
as he goes down. Samoza, Dead Zone pushing too far forward there and overextending. Oops are starting to lose this advantage they had from taking out Skylex. They need to make something happen now, and they need to make it happen quick.
Oh, this is a full YOLO now, man.
Deja, like, mate, what is this tactic?
It's an order. Whatever was the order, he got it so he would extract Wolf, and the other guys would also shoot him. It's actually going in their benefit. I have no idea why Wolf actually left his position.
So Wolf hunting down after Deja there. Deja surviving, but not on a lot of HP, as Mihailov just goes up and kills artillery. Oops still have 5 tanks available to him, but all the HP is on Mainland. Swift almost double the HP of Oops, but it's quickly coming back down. Swift with 4 tanks. Dreamlike taking a lot of damage as well.
Mikhailov is really overextending, and it's stupid. Atmospheric took down Milos, but Algo took Dreamlike down. The problem is Atmospheric is up, and I don't think anyone can really challenging Algo. Doesn't have enough HP. Camille is getting wrecked also by Mikhailov now.
Camille taking shots. Mainland was taking hits from Atmo as well, as Atmo's got Mainland's number here. Mainland's going to have to drop down a little bit. He wants to come around and get shots behind Crespix.
And Crespix is probably watching after Atmospheric.
Before Crespix wants to get in and kill Deja as well. Algo trying to push over on Atmospheric to keep him distracted. It's close with Deja taking another shot there as well. Looks like perhaps from Atmo, as Mainland goes in to get a kill on Crespix, who gets the kill on Deja.
Crespix will fall now. That was a good choice by Mainland.
That was very nicely done. Very nicely done. Helping out Algo there as well, getting a shot into him. Algo should be able to win this trade.
Nice.
And he does, so great play there from Mainland, helping out his teammate rather than just focusing all the shots quickly into the Gorilla there. Mihailov now the only person standing for Oops. Oops have 1 minute and 10 seconds. They're on attacks. They need to kill Mihailov.
Mainland will have the reload, and he will be able to kill him unless he somehow tries to juke him, but this close games ends in Oops' favor.
A little round of applause there for Mainland, I would say. That was very, very nicely played at the end there. Very nicely played. Little golf clap.
Very nice, and we still have a game here, so it was equalizer on mines after all. I would say, let's say like this, I challenge a couple of choices that Oops did here. I don't like how they approached it. I think the only thing that actually saved them here was Wolf chasing after Deja and wasting his entire HP. If he stayed below the cliff and just exchange and pull back a bit, they were not really in situation to press them. Then what would they do? They would have Deja in those buildings, but they would still have that 1-1-3 that someone has to take care of, and he had quite a lot of HP. Him falling down was like dominoes falling, and Oops actually managed to come back in the game. Without that, it would just not happen.
So nicely done there from Oops, bringing it back to 4-2. Swift still sitting on match point. However, let's have a look at the damage done in that round, as we see Crespix once again coming up quite high, but man, you can never count out when it comes to top damage. Mainland right up there for Oops. Now the Wolf coming in 3rd, and then Deja coming in 4th place.
And usually the Wolf, the guy that probably, I would say, sold out the game. For Swift actually came 3rd in damage. It's just not enough. I mean, when Deja pushed alone like that, yes, he had an opening, same as they had an opening to kill Dead Zone. But I have no clue how Dead Zone didn't actually give at least more than that one shell.
Dead Zone pushed up and then...
No, he was behind the rock for a specific reason to get a crossfire. I understand that. There was no one really covering him. That was the problem. But when he got pushed, and he got pushed 1-on-1 by a butt shot, he gave only 1 shell.
Now, I mean, you have a Grill there with 0 damage and a T-49 there for 0 damage. So
Grill really had no chance to shoot from
Oops should have had more control over that map, really. I mean, losing that Grill, I mean, he was, I think it was pretty much a straight-up one-shot.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he was spotted by anyone else.
I don't like how they did a boost, I mean, climb with Algo. I don't think they really cleared enough position of Swift in time to like Climb Beam to be on a lot of HP, so he can press on Atmospheric on his own when the time comes without needing Mayland's help. Because honestly, if Mayland didn't fire the shell, I'm not sure Algo would actually survive.
True, true. It was a trade that Algo could then at least make sure that he gets his one shot in, and you could see the kind of hesitation from Mayland. He kind of like, there was a little start and he's like, I'll take the shot, because he knew that he still could take out the grill before the grill could get him.
He knew the reload of grill, and he actually aimed up because he saw a window of opportunity that just came on its own.
That one shot though, how tempting would it have been to also then take the second shot? Like, that was...
Then he would die.
Yeah, and then the grill would have got him, so yeah. Nerves. I think a lot of...
This was really nice play. Very nice play.
I think it was a good carry at the end, a good individual carry to wrestle control back of the match. Now we are going to go into our fourth map, which is going to be...
And we are still on a match point here for Swift.
So let's have a look at the lineups going into Himmelsdorf, and any surprises?
Oops playing hyper aggressive as usual with 350 Bs in attack. This is nothing new for their lineup. On defense side, E3 for Swift. And Emil 1, tier 8. I don't think we've seen Emil 1 yet.
Not yet. We've seen it on other maps, but definitely not into Himmelsdorf. So let's find out. Will Swift win this one, or is it going to be 4-3? Well, we can jump into Himmelsdorf and find out.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
A lot depends on the mobile light tanks, and well, that's going to be an interesting meta shift, Mojo, isn't it, for the future, when we're going to see these higher tier lights that are being in development right now?
Well, that's in the future. We need to see not only when they get introduced, how will they be, we need to see how will it affect the other tanks like mediums. But a rather aggressive push here by 2 tier 10s here from Oops. And I would say something that Oops used to do before and pressure the cap, but they left free kill there. And they left him instead of highest 3, but that tank is not good with armor, man. And if he gets shot by these butchas, he's gonna disappear before they even realizes what happens.
Free kill. You live up to your namesake quite a lot of the time. I mean, he's dead, gone, bam, he got a shot out.
This is like a start on Prokorovka, man.
It's a very, very appropriate name for the player, to be honest. The only other person who could perhaps use the name Free Kill would be Zvarchak from Go Hard. And his...
Ducky said that he's actually leading tactically as Korit, so he has an excuse.
Do you think he just intends to die so he can just then ignore, like, not worry about playing anymore? Then?
Maybe he's not a good multitasker and talking and driving doesn't work for him.
I'll just die. It reminds me of Carmen, when Carmen used to play the low tiers and die quickly.
Very quick counter-attack coming in here from Swift, and it does look like we're going to have a fight, man.
Dreamlike trading shots here with Mayland, and Deca trading shots with Skylex. Huge hit from Skylex. The Wolf was able to get a kill into Algo, so Oops have lost their scout. Deca has dropped down, and now he is dead as well, so Oops have lost 2 tanks. Swift have lost 2 tanks in Dreamlike and Free Kill. They've lost Skylex now, they're E3. Great focus fire fear from Oops, and they're continuing to pummel shots into Swift. We have a little bit of pause now as the teams reload and reposition.
This is good for Oops now, because they actually managed to pull away with all the forces down. They have kind of, let's say, trench work against Swift, and they have a tank more, which is very visible in this 1500 HP. So, after all, really good start for Oops here.
Good to get rid of the E3. It's certainly a tank you don't want to have to go up against frontally later on. His single shot can wreck tanks, and his armor is an absolute swine to get through. As we see Sealance and Dead Zone pushing around the corner here. They wanted to get the kill into Atmo, but they're taking a hell of a lot of damage in the background from Mihailov as well. Can he focus him down next? Looks like they will. Great double kill there from Oops. Okay, they lost a tank.
Counter attack coming in from the Swift now. They will try to pick up the damage here, but I think it's too late, and they were too far split.
Milosh and Camille just driving in front of Crispix to deny the kill of the dead zone. Very nicely done there. And Oops picked this one up in quick fashion. We are at 4-3, Mojo. The reverse sweep is on, and Swift are going to get beaten at their own tactics.
It does
Oops are going for the... They're going for the tiebreaker.
It does look like Oops is coming back in a game. This was hyper aggressive, and probably if it comes to the tiebreaker, this will allow them to pick a side, this single game here. But they still have to win their own defense. Now, defense, of course, on Himmelsdorf can be played also aggressive. And it does look like these kind of games suit Oops much more than to Swift.
Yes.
Because in any kind of prolonged games, we usually saw Swift coming at top hand here. But on Himmelsdorf, fortunately for Oops, you cannot climb any... I mean, you cannot fail any climbs because there is none to be done. So their tactics, if they're based on any kind of aggressive play, will work.
Now, we talked earlier on about the mind games for Oops. How much is that now playing into the favour of Swift, as we see Mihailov actually coming top damage here, but then the next 4 tanks all coming in from Oops?
Mind plays. I mean, only thing that Swift can count on is that Oops will usually play aggressive. That's about it. But honestly, I can again say, like, I challenged some of the ideas Oops had in that mind games, those minds games that they still won. I can say the same about Swift here. The bad choice for RT positioning on Prohorovka costed them a game, and overall positioning of tanks. Here, the choice of that Emil and how they positioned it, it was literally a free kill, man. It was like a road kill. Seriously.
Yeah, he does die quite quickly a lot of the time, poor lad. Very reminiscent of Zavarchek and Gohard, and how he seems to be the one always getting eliminated quite quickly. The Wolf and Dreamlike playing very different. I mean, Freakill was part of the team last season, I believe. I don't think he was used much last season, was he?
He was from time to time. They never had many players.
That was true. They only had one person to be able to sub out, and they very rarely did that. But now,
Low tiers were usually played by Road.
Yeah, that was true. Road was always low tier, yeah. Definitely was usually the one scouting. Now, we're going to swap positions for the teams now, as it's going to be Oops on the defense, and we're going to have Swift going on the attack. Do you think it's going to be needing to be some kind of special plays, Mojo, or do you think that they're going to...
Swift is not going to
standard?
rush, I can tell you that. They're not going to rush, man.
They're going to go super campy defensive?
They're going to go slow. They're going to try to feel out where every tank of Oops is before they move their little finger anywhere. That's how they're going to play.
I mean, there's still a match point. It's still theirs for the taking. It's theirs for the win. But can they actually make it effective or not? I mean...
that's like a really in debate sphere, but will they make it happen? They were often on the other side of this coin, because they were often losing 1-4, and they do know that once you come to tiebreaker, you will usually win it from that kind of situation. So yeah, I think they'll just go careful and try to deal with Oops in some maybe trappy way to try to seclude one of the Oops tanks, exactly as they lost free kill now, and win the match like that and end it right here and then, because the next map is Ghost Town, and we all know Ghost Town is quite a gamble when it comes to that. It doesn't give really advantage to defender. It's even more proactive for attacker, I would say. And lineups are ready, so let's go and see them.
Indeed, let's see which tanks are going to be used here. Now, E5, FV215B 183 on the defense from Oops. Swift on attack, going with an E100 as the battering ram.
E100. And FV183, it does say that with E5, even Oops does not want to rush or play anything super fast. At maximum with this, they can do some control of the 8 line while sniping it. And they're quite good at it.
Interesting. Interesting. I like seeing E100 being used on Himmelsdorf. It can take a hell of a lot of punishment. It just depends on which area they're going to use it in. Well, let's find out. As the teams are ready, we can jump into round 2 here on Himmelsdorf. Are Oops going to take Swift into tiebreaker and potentially beat Swift at their own game, or Swift sitting on match point here since 4-1? Can they finally take this win and take the entire match from Oops?
As usual, when people play with E100, they're going up to the hill, giving a nice salute here, shooting the Death Star from the sky with the T100. But Milos has binos on his E5, so that already told us his position and what will he do from there. On other hand, the remaining part of Oops did go to check out the rail, and they have Algo spotting through the middle, so maybe that 1A3 connects something interesting, like there or up on a window. But that's about it. This is more like a courtesy call. They're just checking out the situation if Swift is playing mind games and actually trying to press rail.
Oops able to quickly relocate back to the number 2 base once they realise all the tanks of Swift are going to be over there. The choo-choo train here pushing along the E100 using the AMX 50Bs to give it a faster speed across the hill and up the hill, and it carries on down the hill down itself now. Milos will get the spots in just a second, maybe. I mean, unless they all turn left straight away. But they've stopped. Dreamlike's not so sure about driving across.
Man, if you don't want to drive just like that when 1A3 is in the game. But here, this is rather a safe approach. It's really hard to hit anything here as long as you're hugging these buildings here. But he's driving on the middle of the road like a champion, man. Like he's really safe, feeling secure.
Dreamlike taking a couple of hits already from, it looks like Camille connected but didn't pen.
He had hash loaded and it was a distance shot in his armor part, and Camille took as much back. So in this kind of exchange, Oops is even on a loss a bit.
Yep, you don't really want to start your FV taking lots of damage. The Oops are starting to rotate round to be able to get the crossfire in. This is going to be a base 2 play from Swift, and it's going to be decided here in the northeast of the map.
Well, we said many times about these FVTDs 405 or 1A3, doesn't matter which, they have practically the same gun. It's all about doing a crucial shot when the fight starts and the right moment. Because you need to do damage there, a lot of damage in that shot, more than 1k minimum, preferably round 2. And it needs to be while the fight is going on, not after everyone had an exchange.
Bold trade there as Milos able to get the damaging shot into Dreamlike, and Dreamlike's return fire did not connect.
It was a really nice shot by Milos there.
2 tanks at the moment, down to 30 seconds, as the rest of Oops are starting to reposition down round south, and they're going to get a lot of shots here into the tanks of Swift, but Swift are ready for this.
It does look like that is the single thing they're waiting for. That 1390, they don't really care about cap. That's a big bait, and if they don't come, and they must come, and this is it. This is the 50Bs coming in for a fight.
Decha face checking there into 250Bs. He's going to get a lot of damage in return for that, as Milos takes a shot in the E5 as well. Oops are taking a lot of damage for this exchange, and Swift are in control in the driver's seat here, still sitting roughly about 3k damage on top of Oops, and everyone in Oops right now is taking the absolute pummeling, Mojo.
Camille is out of the game. That's the really problematic part for them. He's waiting for that shot, he's getting baited by Mikhailov and Crespix, but he has no connections. And there is no connection but by that crucial piece of artillery, I would even say. Like, he is TD, but I would say he's mobile artillery in this game.
It's looking like Oops are not counting the shots, as Swift are able to just continually get shots into the tanks of Oops every time one of them appears. Milan going to be focused down now by Skylex, as Deca also drops Dreamlike at the same time. But okay, the armor's out of the game, but the guns are not out of the game, and Swift are going to take this one. They're going to beat Oops 5-3, and it was just too little too late from the Tough Giraffes.
It's just that coordination and that FVTD not being able to join the team in a fight, and he was rather useless all the time. I mean, his reload itself is more than 20 seconds, so it's horrible. You need to connect, as I said, while the fight is going on. You need to do damage then, and if you survive, fine. Then you will be really horrible for anyone who is on low HP.
Well, that was, I guess, would you say, would you fair,
That sounded very
glitch in the
awkward,
Matrix, Mojo.